Hey everybody, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today I'm back with another 4K review. Today we're going to be checking out a disc that has been highly requested by people on the channel, so I'm excited I was finally able to get this. It is Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, the enhanced, ultimate, remastered, whatever you want to call it, the newest edition from Zack Snyder, his remastered version, which includes new IMAX aspect ratios and actually has a new color timing. So we'll talk about all that and sort of how this release came to be. We'll go over the visual quality here. This is a bit of an interesting review because as far as I know, I think this is the only 4K disc that's ever been re-released. We've always had multiple Blu-rays that have been remastered and put out on the same format, but I think this is the first 4K that I'm comparing to a previously released 4K. So sort of an interesting review there, but we'll talk about all that stuff in this review, video, audio, and just some of the packaging and what you can expect if you purchase this release. So stay tuned for all that. Now, jumping right into things here with the visuals, I do want to talk a little bit about what was going on with this release. So now the remastering of this movie with the IMAX aspect ratios and some new color timing was a Zack Snyder sort of passion project. And it really tied in with Zack Snyder's Justice League and that release on HBO Max. If you've seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know that the whole movie was shot in this 4:3 aspect ratio. So it's much different than what you're used to with high definition media, which is typically widescreen. It's much more of an older format. It's sort of the aspect ratio that maybe you'd see old, TV shows in. But it is actually giving you a fuller image because, modern TV screens in your homes are 16:9. They're pretty typical widescreen aspect ratio. And even the IMAX sequences from discs like, say, Mission Impossible that have those scenes just fill your screen, but you're actually missing a lot of height because, as you know, IMAX screens are much higher and a little bit more squared than what you have at home. So what Zack Snyder's been doing is he's been bringing in those black bars that you usually see on the top and the bottom. Those are going to be on the left and right of your image, and he's going to give you a taller but not as wide image to give you a little bit more scope. And so that's what the IMAX sequences in this movie are remastered in that aspect ratio. Now, the rest of the movie that's not IMAX is still in the original widescreen aspect ratio. So given where the IMAX scenes in this movie are, I'd say probably less than 25% of the movie is actually in these new IMAX aspect ratio. The rest of the movie is going to be pretty standard, and it's going to look just like your other 4K disc did in terms of how the black bars and the aspect ratios on your screen work. Now, I'm talking a lot of technical stuff here. I have a video on my channel about aspect ratios, so if you're confused, you can go look that up. But basically, it's just the way that the image is stretched on your screen. It's either widescreen or it can be 4:3 or 133:1, and there's a lot of different aspect ratios. So I've been throwing up a couple screenshots here that'll help you get an idea, but primarily the IMAX sequences come during Batman and Superman's fight towards the end of the movie. There's the nightmare dream sequence somewhere in the middle, and then a lot of the stuff at the beginning, surprisingly enough, where there isn't much action, a lot of the kind of backstory to Batman and the Wayne Manor scenes and all that in the intro are shot in IMAX. So it's kind of weird where things fell and where things didn't, but I showed a few examples of that here, and that'll give you an idea of how this is going to change from your previous 4K or even Blu-ray experience. On the previous releases of this, you didn't even get any IMAX sequences. So the IMAX scenes did not fill your screen. It was shot and shown at the same widescreen aspect ratio throughout the entire disc. So you are now finally getting IMAX sequences at home with Batman v Superman. Now, the other thing Zack Snyder did on this release is he went back and fixed some of the color timing. Now, I honestly didn't see a massive difference when it came to the 4K discs, but where I saw the biggest difference really was just in contrast in the black levels and brightness levels. So white, very white, blacks, very black. Your shadow detail and your contrast overall was improved, but there wasn't anything here, even, in the HDR, the really bright where there are bright moments. There's a couple green colors, there's a couple reds that stand out. For the most part, it's a very dark movie, so the contrast and brightness was really the biggest enhancement. But it was slightly different color tint, maybe. I really didn't see that this had as much an impact with the new color timing as it did with the new aspect ratio of the IMAX scenes. I think the IMAX scenes are the real selling point here. If you're a Zack Snyder, Batman v Superman, Snyderverse type supporter, I think that that's why you buy this release, and the color timing really wasn't as important. Now on the audio, you're getting the same excellent Dolby Atmos track, so nothing changes there. There was no news on that being remastered as far as I can tell. It is exactly the same. So that's what you're getting on this, this disc. Very good audio, excellent audio even, has a lot of great moments, but no upgrade there. Now for packaging, in the US at least, you just get the case. There's no slipcover. You see the artwork on the front, and then on the inside, there's just the one disc, just the 4K disc. There's no Blu-ray. There is a digital code included, but no additional features really. There is just a introduction and a commentary by Zack Snyder, which is nice, but the real selling point, like I said, of this release is purely those IMAX scenes. So this release was actually pretty hard to find. It had some issues. It was originally supposed to come out before the Justice League premiere on HBO Max. Then it came out a week later. Then pre-orders got canceled. It's been kind of a slow roll here into March and April to get this out to consumers for whatever reason. Maybe it's COVID and manufacturing delays of the discs, or packaging delays, or who knows what, but it was a really weird process, and they were really hard to find. You couldn't find them. Pre-orders getting canceled. And so I actually got mine from HD Movie Source. They hooked me up with this one, so huge props to them. They continue to support this channel and have been great to me and helpful in creating content. So link to them down in the description. Really cool family-owned small business that focuses on physical media. And really, if you're an international viewer of mine and you're trying to get US Blu-ray and 4K releases, they're really, really helpful when it comes to that stuff. They have a great international audience. And if you're in the US, make sure you message them, because they'll help you out with some discounts considering you're local. But they really have a nice niche, and they're really supportive of the channel. So thank you to them for sending this. But overall, I would say that this release is probably for the hardcore super fans only. I am a hardcore DC fan. I like DC more than Marvel. That may surprise some people, but I really like Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero. So anything Batman, DC, I support. I liked this movie a lot, so I really wanted it for my collection. But at the end of the day, what you're really paying for here is an aspect ratio shift and a little bit better brightness and contrast. Everything else, HDR, 4K resolution, the quality, the detail of the image, which was always very, very high, is the same here as it was on the previous 4K release. So you're not really gaining anything. Audio's the same. This doesn't come with, a slipcover or any special packaging. So it's a pretty bare bones release, and it's really only for the hardcore fans who want to either A, support Zack Snyder and what he's been up to and the struggles he's had with DC, or B, just want to have that ultimate edition with the IMAX sequences. Maybe both, but if that's you, I'd say I recommend it. If not, I would say the average consumer probably isn't too interested in this release. So if you want to grab this, I'll leave links down in the description. I think that production and manufacturing has gotten a little bit better lately. They're starting to make their way out into the market. More copies are starting to get out there. So if you buy through my link, that helps support me, but also check out places like HD Movie Source or Bull Moose or your local video store. See if they can help you out as well. But yeah, thank you again to HD Movie Source for supporting this review. Thank you all for watching this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you follow me on social media, Instagram and TikTok. We're doing stuff over there every day, so follow me there. It's a good way to get in touch. And also make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on so you're always up to date on the latest videos. I really appreciate all the support lately. I appreciate all the views on a couple of my past videos. They've been going really well. So thank you all. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.